What is your most optimistic mindset for these times?
For me, it's been being about filling my life with things that nurture me, that feed my soul, that helps me to be really creative. And I found in this last year that my creativity has just gone zip. And that's really sustained me and inspired me. And that's enabled me actually to step out of the drama of what's going on around, to be really present actually with where I am and who I am. The other thing that's been an education for me is that I live on my own, and it's quite tough being locked up, living on your own 24 hours a day. So that's been incredibly nurturing for me. And the other thing that's been amazingly helpful right from the onset, which is a year ago, last March, I have a walking buddy, and she and I have walked every Wednesday and every Sunday, literally for a year. And we do at least 6 to 8 miles twice a week. And the other thing I've done is I have done at least 4 hours of yoga every week on Zoom, obviously. So I've really tried to keep my body healthy and fit, and keep myself healthy and fit inside me. And out of this has come this creativity that I wasn't really expecting, because when we went into lockdown, I was thinking, oh gosh, what am I going to do now? But it's actually the universe has just, I think I've given my head room just to sit and be, and then the universe just chucks stuff at me, and I've gone, oh well, that's great. The other thing for me, I've been very well plugged in to groups that are nurturing. So I'm part of a Gaia consciousness group that we meet every 2 weeks. I'm part of another consciousness group. We're a group of women in particular, and we meet every week, which has just been so nurturing. And we talk about stuff that really matters to us. And then I'm just in the process, I've just set up a psychic development group, because I'm always interested in that side of life as well. So that sort of nurtures me. And I've also started an astrology certificate. I'm taking the certificate exam in astrology from the Faculty of Astrology. So I've sort of fed myself with stuff that really gives me joy and inspiration, and everything feeds everything else.
What have you done to realize your life vision?
Ooh, I have it here. Yes, this is the creative input that happened. I've always worked in end of life, and for the last 20 years, my work really has been about helping people to talk about end of life and death and dying. So I've written books, and I've run lots of workshops and retreats and stuff like that. And I've really enjoyed that side of it. But hey, lockdowns happened. So I've been running a lot of death cafes online, and that's been great because they went international. I found that really helpful, and I've also set up the deep adaptation death cafes, which is enabling people to talk about end of life and death and dying against the backdrop of cataclysmic climate change, really. So that's one area of life that I've been developing. But the other one is that 4 years ago, I was with my grandson having lunch, and he just turned around to me and he said, Granny, am I going to die one day? And I was like, what do I say here? And I thought, gosh, if I would need a book to sit down with him and go through, this is a huge question. So I kind of sort of chatted to him about it, and he seemed quite happy and carried on eating lunch, as they do. And then as the lockdown came, this character, Granny Mo, popped into my head, and I suddenly thought, I need to write a children's book about this. So I did. And then it was very strange, because as soon as I got the idea and the character and the voice of Granny Mo and wrote the first story, I thought, well, how do I get this published? And then the universe introduced me to Gail Powell, who runs Lost Books. She loved the idea of Granny Mo because she does personalized Lost Books. And so she's been the publisher for it. And her husband happens to be an illustrator. So we kind of created this sort of Granny Mo family, really. And this is sort of led on to opening up another door with a doctor who wants to use Granny Mo as a character to help explain big emotions to children. So the whole thing has just opened up in front of me without me really trying. It was as soon as Granny Mo dropped into my head, it was like the universe just went, that's it. And I knew that that was the next step for me. So it's been a very creative time. You know, if you stop and allow space just to happen and go through the agony of I'm not doing anything, because that did happen for me. I sort of thought, well, what do I do with my life now? You know, everything stopped. I do believe that unless we allow the space to come, you know, you can't hear what's next for you. And I think there's a dialogue that goes on with the universe. And the other thing I did say, you know, I just gave myself, I said, look, use me in whatever way is best for everybody's highest good. Just use me. And that's what happened for me. And it literally, she just came one day and it was like, oh my God, I think this is it. What am I going to do now with my life? And how do I use this well? How do I step into a lockdown and wanting to work, but everything, all the workshops, and I was about to go on a book tour as well, because I just brought out Living Fully, Dying Consciously. Absolutely everything got cancelled. So all the talks, the workshops, everything. And then suddenly, you know, I was able to open up on Zoom to do things like death cafes.